Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are doing a Sims 4 speed build on a small base game only family home today. Hopefully you will enjoy this one. I think it turns out pretty cute. Disclaimer, I have received some of the packs for free from the EA Creator Network. However, I purchased the base game myself, and this is a base game only build. So now that I have that little disclaimer out of the way, I am in Willow Creek of the base game save file that I'm working on. I decided to do both an all packs save file and a base game only save file because at some point my brain clicked and it's like, not everybody's gonna be obsessed with completing the Sims 4 pack collection as I have been. And so maybe I should be building for the people that can't or don't want to have all of the packs as well. It does take a little more brain power for me to do a base game only build. We have so much stuff available to us in the base game of The Sims 4 than we have ever had in previous games. Like core franchise games, not like spin-off games or whatever, but core franchise games. We have so much more available to us, and in the last few years they've been adding even more stuff. So there's definitely a variety of things you can do with base game, but it is still kind of restrictive a little bit, and so it takes me a little bit more brain power to figure out how to do especially a starter build using base game only. Starter builds are hard enough anyways to make them like really shine, but to have a starter build that is only base game, at least for me, I've seen other people do them and they do them magnificently, and I am in awe and a little bit embarrassed that I can just go out there and be like, hey, look at mine, when there are so many better ones out there. But you know, we all start somewhere, right? And I'm working on my skills all the time. That's the point of this, right? Connecting with people and working on my Sims 4 building skills. Because when the Sims 4 first came out, like, I was really bad. Don't tell anybody, but it was embarrassingly bad at building when the Sims 4 first came out. It was so different, yet also kind of not, which is weird. But it felt so different from building in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 that I just could not wrap my head around it, and I just couldn't do it well. So all these years later, I'm trying to hone my skills now. Better late than never, I guess. But anyways, it's a good workout for my brain. And this one, albeit extremely simple, really worked my brain. I cut quite a bit out because I redid certain areas, like the windows I redid completely. I had the majority of them placed, and then I didn't like how it was looking, and I took them all down and redid that. As you'll watch through the video, because I couldn't cut this part out, the house begins to shrink more and more to stay within a very... There you go, right there. The house begins to shrink more and more because I'm trying to stay within a very tight budget, and because there's just not enough stuff to fill up a bigger house when you're only using base game. So it's not ever just about the budget alone. It's about finding enough stuff that looks good and works together to fill up an entire house and not have it look bad or empty. You know what I mean? And in this case, over the course of the video, the house shrinks more and more and more so that it looks like a fuller house, even though it has very little stuff in it. Does that make sense? I hope so. And while I've got you here, speaking of people who have just incredible, awe-inspiring skills at building, I think you should go check out Pretty Poison Simming and Chicken Pop Sims. Like, I'm embarrassed to put my builds in the same space as theirs because their builds are like, I just sit and watch their videos and I'm like, wow, I will never be that good no matter how hard I try. It's just like an innate talent for them. Their buildings are just so beautiful. There's no other word for it. They're just so beautiful. They are the opposite of basic. I am a basic builder. I work well enough with the basic things, but they are like the opposite of that. So I really think you should go check them out. They are fantastic builders and I aspire to be like them. And I work on my builds every time thinking, what would they do? How would they do this? How would they make this look good? So go check them out, please. Speaking of my decorating skills and whatnot, the style I went for with this build was like, how do I describe this? I am at a loss for words all of a sudden. Like, I went and spent all my savings on as much IKEA furniture as I could get, and the rest I went to the thrift store and got. Does that make sense? That's the style that I was going for, was that kind of basic, but then something a little more with personality in it mixed in here and there. That's the kind of style I was going for inside. The game does not lend itself well when you're doing base game starter homes to having much of a style. There are really only two basic styles available. There is like the basic sort of almost contemporary-ish style, or like in the case of the children's furniture here, it's very contemporary. But then you look at the double beds for adults and stuff, and there's not really anything that is blatantly contemporary. Like, you can sort of get some of the things to fit in with the style a little bit, but it's not contemporary in the same set that crib and toddler bed are contemporary, you know what I mean? And so you have that sort of bland, basic, nondescript style, or you have the sort of old-fashioned, outdated, flea market, find, hand-me-down, bordering on traditional style. And it's not that they can't be mixed together, because they can, and in some cases it's done really well. I don't think I have the hang of it completely yet. I do feel like I'm getting better at mixing those two base game styles together. technically, I guess you could say we do also have the sort of Queen Anne style. I forgot about that. We do sort of have that really, really ornate, traditional, antique style. But that's probably the one and only style that I really just don't like at all. Like, not even a little bit. And so I have a hard time building with it myself. And I forget that it exists most of the time because it's just really not a style that I enjoy. Whoops, I hit everything all at once right there. Sorry about that if you heard that. That was just me hitting the desk and everything. I tried to put my microphone in a place where you wouldn't hear and notice that stuff as much. I don't have it clipped to the desk. I have it clipped to a shelf next to the desk so that there's no transfer of that sound through the furniture. But every once in a while, when I get wiggly in my seat, I hit things just right that the microphone can pick up on it. But anyways, yeah. So that's just kind of my basic explanation of the sort of basic decorating style of this house. Did I mention that? I think I mentioned somewhere along the way that as you watch, the house is slowly shrinking in size. I think for the most part, that part is done now. I don't think it's going to shrink too much more, if at all, anymore. Now the rest of the video, now it's just kind of, or the rest of the speed build portion of the video, now it's just me trying to figure out how best to fit the furniture in so it looks good and there's space for your Sims to move around freely, but also space for you to put things in. So very quickly, you're going to be amassing stuff. You're going to have kids' projects that they got to do, and you're going to be collecting things from around the world. That's the one nice thing that I don't think I hear very many people ever complain about in The Sims 4 is there are definitely a lot of little items that you can collect through gameplay to sort of enhance your home, decorate with, fill your house up and make it look used and lived in and loved on and everything. For instance, going to the beach and combing for seashells and then having a shelf full of seashells. Like, I don't think I hear too many people complaining about that one singular aspect of the game almost ever. In fact, I can't remember the last time I heard anybody complain about that. And it is really nice to have all those smaller little elements in the game that you collect through gameplay, like children drawing pictures at school and bringing them home for you to hang up on the wall and stuff. Now, granted, the majority of these things are locked behind expansion packs and game packs and even a couple of stuff packs, I think. For instance, the combing for seashells, you have to have island living. But, it doesn't matter which packs you have aside from kits. You will never, well, I don't want to say never, but generally speaking, you're not going to get little things like that from kits. But stuff packs, well, stuff packs is a little iffy too. But definitely, for sure, game packs and expansion packs, you will get the things like projects. Oh, there is the art table, though. I forgot about that. There is the art table. Your kids can make pictures on the art table for you to hang on the kitchen wall. Seasons comes with even more stuff, though, that they can make and hang up on the wall. But yeah, it almost doesn't matter which pack you have, though, because a lot of the packs come with something. Seashells from Island Living. Now my mind is drawing a blank. Just a minute ago, I had the whole list in my head of things you could get from different packs, and now it's just like, what? But you know what I'm trying to say. There are little things, even in the base game, the crystals and the elements and the rocks and the fossils and all that kind of stuff you can collect and put around your house to decorate too. And very quickly, once you start up the game, especially if you start up with the children, you do start collecting stuff, a lot of stuff. So there I like to leave spaces, like little parts of end tables or the side of a coffee table or random places on shelves here and there for you to start your collections on, because isn't that what a starter house is for? Having a basic starting out point where you can add little things to it as you go along. And then there are just other things like your Sims want stuff, or an aspiration or a job requires something and you need the space to add those in as well. So I did include one skill object this time, though. I included a bonsai tree in the parents' bedroom because it's so massive, has so much space. I needed something to fill that space up with, so I put a bonsai tree there. I don't think I use skill objects very often at all outside of the garden beds. That's about it. And so there you go, you get the bonsai tree now. I did try to include some of the kids' stuff, and they have toys in the living room, but that doesn't really count. But like a violin or whatever. But then I decided to specifically set the rooms up for a toddler and an infant. And I thought, why waste what little precious money you start out with in the game on a violin that your child sim won't even be able to use right away? You can add that later if you so choose that you want your sim to play the violin. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want them, maybe you have seasons and you want them to do something else. Or maybe you have, what are the other packs? I can't remember now. Is it Parenthood that came with, wait, Seasons came with the scouting stuff, right? So then no? Yeah, Seasons came with the scouting stuff. Jeez, we have so many packs now, it's hard to remember everything and where it all comes from. Especially when you're kind of obsessed like I am and basically had to have, not just wanted, but like I felt like I had to have. Oh, I did it again. I keep hitting everything on my desk. I'm so sorry. I just felt like I had to have everything. But I've been that way since the original Sims came out. Like, I always found a way to get my Sims expansion packs. It's like a drug for me. But there's so much now, I can't remember what came with what. I guess there's skiing in Snowy Escape. There's that. I always forget about that one, but I'm not a snow and winter kind of person, so it doesn't automatically come to mind very often. But yeah, anyways, the point is, I included a skill object this time. Something I rarely, if ever, do very often. I think the landscaping and the shading and everything turned out really well. I just wish I would have fixed the lines on the front gravel sidewalk a little bit more. Looking at them in video format makes them look different, but that's easy to smooth out and get rid of just by going over it a little bit with the texture paint tool. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know why I feel the need to point out all the little things I got wrong that I would change afterwards, but I do. And we're done, so let's get into that walkthrough because I just have a little bit of shading here and that's it, and now we can do the walkthrough. And here it is. I don't know why I don't turn it brighter when I'm doing the actual speed build, but I don't think of it until I'm doing the walkthrough. But here it is, a little bit sunnier. This is the front porch and landscaping. And then you enter right directly into the eat-in kitchen dining space. There's no formal dining room. Over here to the side is a fairly decent sized living room. I feel like there's definitely room to expand furniture, skill items, and stuff for the children. Then right next to that is the parent or parents' bedroom. And it's got 2 closets for 2 people, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have 2 parents in here. I just needed something to fill up the extra space. To be honest, I just needed something to fill up the extra space. Then next to that is what I would call the nursery. It's the smallest bedroom in the house. And so I feel like it's great for a baby because they don't need that much space. Then the bathroom, very basic because I ran out of money. Another view of the kitchen before we go into the toddler bedroom. Slightly bigger than the nursery, still kind of small, but plenty big enough for a toddler or child. And then just another view of that kitchen, living room, and everything from this angle. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings and the speed build. Don't forget to look for me on the gallery, hashtag JSimLady or ID JSim_lady, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.